Hello and welcome to this Zoom presentation. I was just about to say this number, whatever one we're up to, but I can't remember which number we're up to. So welcome. This is a recording because I'm actually in London at the moment in a hotel. And last night I attended an awards ceremony. So it's really quite well timed that is all about imposter syndrome, because being nominated for awards um, is something that brought up a lot of imposter syndrome for myself. So, as always, during these sessions, I'll be going through 7 slides, 7 steps, and just talking and sharing different things that, I hope that will be helpful to you. Now, one of the things that I always like to do with people is actually find out what imposter syndrome actually means to them, because it can mean so many different things. It's like, well, I'm not worthy, I don't belong here, I'm being rejected. So there's lots of different things that come up for people. Now, when we actually look at the word imposter, it's like someone who's representing someone that they're not, or they're being fake, or um, they are taking on the personality or the life of somebody that doesn't belong to them. And so understanding that and understanding what we mean by imposter syndrome to us actually helps go a long way towards unraveling it and breaking it down, so we can actually become and actually know that we deserve to be where we are. And when we actually look at where we feel imposter syndrome in our body, will also tell us a lot, because if we're feeling it in our solar plexus, that's because we're worrying about what other people think of us being in that place. If we're feeling it in our throat, then that's our throat chakra, and then that's like we're not speaking up, we're not actually declaring that this is who we are now, we're not acknowledging who we are. And a lot of us spend a lot of our time in our heart, in our head space, but it's when we start dropping down into our heart space and into our womb space that we actually, and I know that men don't have wombs, but in your pelvic region, still the same. But when we're actually looking at where we feel the emotions about imposter syndrome in our body, then we can actually start further, and we can look at if there's any traumas or anything that's been said to us throughout our life, whether it's from teachers or parents or partners, or friends, or just by society in general. So looking at where we feel it, but also the words that we associate with being an imposter. Um, when I experienced it, I was like, what? Me? At these awards? Really? And it wasn't so much that I didn't feel that I deserved them. It was just that I just get my head down and I do the work. And my association to awards were that they're all about lots of millions, lots of employees, people who have made significant change. And I hadn't really seen that I had achieved any of those. Yes, I built a successful business. Yes, I've achieved a lot, but was it worthy of an award? Obviously, yes, because I was shortlisted and I have won awards. So it was just marrying up what I've achieved and what I believe to be about awards. So that might be something that you might want to look into, about why it might be that, do I deserve to be a writer? Do I deserve to be an author? What is it you're thinking that those titles actually mean to you, and how can you then make that leap to that? um Again, so step 2 is, if you think that you or believe that you're an imposter, why do you not feel that you have what it takes to become a successful author or a successful writer? What is it that you are, how are you limiting yourself? Is it because you probably didn't do very well at school in English, or you don't have an English literature degree or a journalism degree? It might be that you were criticized for always telling stories or living in a land of make-believe, or like me, always daydreaming. But guess what? The thing about those daydreams is most of those dreams have come true. And So again, it's like looking at why you feel this about yourself. And I want you to make a list of all the areas in your life where you feel like you're an imposter, whether you are if we look at it on a parenting level, a lot of mums, they don't feel like they're a good mum because they're not present or they haven't done enough. Mama guilt is such a thing. Or you might be a dad who, your kids absolutely adore you, but you work away a lot, and you come back and your kids have changed and you feel that disconnect there. It might be that, your intentions as a friend, you've got a friend who does absolutely everything for so many people, or she's always there for you, or he's always there for you, but you're not always there for them, or you feel that it's a very one-sided friendship because you've been through a lot and they haven't, but they've been supporting you. It's about realigning and getting present. So I want you to list all the areas of your life where you feel like you are not worthy of something, or that you don't belong somewhere, or whatever it is that you made imposter mean to you using the words in step one. Then one of the most powerful things is, where is the evidence that you're an imposter? What evidence do you have? So, for example, did I deserve to be nominated for all of these awards? Well, yes, I've written and worked on 22 books in the space of 10 years. Writing those books takes time, researching them takes even longer, the publishing and the marketing, and building a business around them and actually impacting and helping other people to actually share their story, and actually own their voice and take what it is that they're very passionate about and moving forward with that. I have created a very successful business. And so I deserve to be there, but I had to realign everything and actually step out of the book, out of the writing, and step out and actually go, this is what other people say about me. So if all of these people are saying it, then there must be some truth in it. And then looking at, listening to who had told me I wasn't good enough, who had told me that I didn't belong there, and looking at some of the people within the industry and thinking, do I actually want to be aligned with those people? Do I want to be in a space with these people? Like, I'm not I'm not somebody who's very corporate. As you can see, I'm very relaxed when I show up on here. I'm being true to myself. Last night I wore a dress and a heel. Well, I wore two heels actually, one on each foot. I wore a dress and heels. I'm not a heels kind of gal anymore. I've been living in bare feet and Havianas and trainers for the best part of 7 years as I've traveled the world. Not much call for heels on a boat. So again, it's like, like I have to get comfortable wearing that. So again, looking at what we're wearing, are the clothes that we're wearing making us feel more like ourselves? Are they holding us back? How are we elevating that? Can you be all of who you are and wear clothes that represent all of who you are? I can be a lady. I can be very sporty. I also be somebody who loves a duvet day. So, clothes are very important. And they have to reflect our mood. But if we're only limiting ourselves to one side of ourselves, we're multifaceted people. So, go and find the evidence that supports you stepping out of not belonging. You know that you can belong anywhere you choose. So that's the second step there. Step three. Now, this can be quite a challenging one because it's about finding that time when you first felt that you didn't belong. Now, it might have been in your family. It might have been in a group of people at school. It could have been an after-school club. It could have been somewhere at college or even in the workplace. Mine comes from feeling like I was adopted when I was little because I didn't feel that I belonged in my family. I was so different to my brother and sister. And I also had a father who told my mum to go and have me adopted because he didn't want me. And so when you go through things like that as a child, even though you may not have heard those conversations or you may not have been in a situation that where you, like I said, where you've heard things, it might have been just the experience of being somewhere. Like, you're the last one picked for the football team, or you're the last one picked for like the swim team, or you didn't quite make it into ballet because if you're anything like me, you're not really a ballet dancer, you're more of a freestyler. And those of us who do mum and dad dances at the local wedding, yeah, we're more that kind of person than an elegant ballerina. We're never going to be, the prima ballerina down, some amazing theatre. That's where we don't feel that we belong, because our soul is talking to us and saying, actually, we don't belong there, because we have something within us that's much bigger, or we're being nudged in the direction of something where we do belong. There's this phrase like, go find your tribe, your vibe attracts your tribe. If you're not vibing with those people, take that, go, okay, well, I'm not, so where do I vibe? And create your own team, create your own community, and find out who told you didn't deserve to have all of the things that you're working towards, and return to sender. Because this is a really powerful phrase that I like to use. If somebody is being negative about you, or somebody is being hateful online, it's not your business. That says more about them. Return it to them. This is not your stuff. That's their stuff. If you have a limiting belief, send it back to wherever it came from, not yours. Return to sender. You don't allow junk mail to come into your house. You don't allow spam emails. Return to sender. Block it. It's the same principle. And the sooner you start doing that, then the sooner you start attracting the things that are worthy, that you are more than worthy of, and that are worthy of you. And I think that's something that a lot of people fail to realize. Like, am I worthy of this? Well, actually, are they worthy of me? Because it's not about walking into a room and saying, who likes me? It's about walking into a room and going, who do I like? And if there's no one in that room that you like, just turn around and walk out again. Not your place. You get to choose. You get to choose in every single moment of every single day where you want to belong. And if where you are right now is not somewhere where you belong, walk away. You deserve to do that for yourself. And again, when have you been overlooked for all of your efforts? I remember a time when I thought I was the best dancer on the dance floor. Absolutely nailed those moves. Honestly, you should see me in the swimming pool. I am the best contemporary dancer in a swimming pool. You take me out the swimming pool, I'm like a hippo rolling around in the mud. I am not a contemporary dancer of anybody's imagination. But this particular thing, I was like, I know I was the best dancer. Why didn't I win best dancer at the school disco? Well, it's because my mum's cousin, her husband, ran the school disco, and he couldn't give me best dancer because of the relationship I had with him through my mum and her cousin, because it would have shown favoritism. So because he didn't want to be seen making me the favorite and it being biased, I didn't win. But I didn't know that until afterwards. But that seed had already been planted. So go back to those times and go, actually, that was just a story I made up in my head about why I didn't, because I wasn't good enough, even though I knew I was. And that percolates as a child. Go back, go and do some inner child work. And just unravel it, because these are some of the decisions that we made as a child. We're now adults. And if we're going to allow decisions that we've made as a child to stop us from achieving the things we want and writing about the things we want and speaking up on the things that we want, then we're still allowing our younger self to make our decisions. And whilst that was valid when we were younger, when we didn't have all the tools and the wisdom that we do now, we're in a very different place now. So we deserve everything. So again, looking back, where did it start? And what can you choose now for yourself? Okay, so this one is really diving into what we've done as a writer. And, there are lots of us that have written things. Our hard drive is full of books that we've started, poetry that we've written, that will never see the light of day. There are There are short stories, there might be an outline for a book, there might even be a whole manuscript, but you're just too afraid to publish it. And it's about understanding why. There is something unique that you have done that lots of people haven't done. If you've got a collection of short stories, they might not be like, they're not probably not going to transform the world, but they're going to transform your world. And that's the difference. It's not always about transforming the world. It's about making you go, actually, I did this. I can be proud of this. Collect all of those together. It might be a passage from a book that you started writing and you just thought, oh, it doesn't fit into the book. I want you to make a list of all the things that you've written, and all the mini victories that you've had, whether it's, you know what, I'm going to sit down today and I'm going to write. And you've done that. Write that down as your victory. Or, you know what, I'm going to send this off to a competition. And I did that and I applied so many times. I might not have won, but I had the practice. I entered competitions or I entered a newspaper. I wrote to a newspaper. I did this and just really get present to everything that you've achieved as a writer. Have you had something published where somebody has come back to you and said, do you know what, that was amazing? Or you really made me think about that. Or you've got a letter printed, on a blog printed on somebody's website. Look at all of these victories because they may not have been, a million readers. They may have not had, tens of thousands of copies sold, might not have even sold 5 copies of your book, but you've still sold 4. And that's a big thing. Most people say they're going to write a book and never do. Most people, when they've written the book, never go on to publish. So the fact that you have written a letter to a newspaper and had it published, or you've entered a competition, or you've even started writing something, that says a lot about you. And I want you to be really proud of yourself. Because it's really important that we celebrate those small wins. And then nobody else can tell your story. Okay, and nobody else can share what it is that's in your head. It's in your heart and in your head for a reason. And I want you to really own that. And this is your story to tell. And it's about you understanding why it's you that needs to tell this story, why it's you that has been gifted this story. It might be because this is something that you're passionate about. It's because you've done lots of research about, or you've had a vision about, or it's this thing that's burning deep inside of you. You just have to tell this story. It might be just because I want to. I get to. It's not that I have to, or that I want to, but I get to. I get to write this. I get to have this opportunity. I get to voice my opinion. I get to voice my story. You get to have that opportunity, and only you can make that opportunity come to fruition. So yes. And the beauty of this, it's like I call it that clearing the scum off the top. Once you start writing all of these things down, it's almost like it might be a bit difficult at first, but then it's like, oh my God, yeah, and I get to do this, and I get to do that, I get to do this. And you've taken off all of the stuff that's on the top that's been stopping you. So, you're swimming in open water, something that I've done quite a bit of. And you come up and you've got like the weeds or like, or something on your face. And you're just clearing it all off. That's what it's about. It's about, like when you've got you've like made a roast meat, whether it's roast lamb or roast chicken, and you've got that layer of the meat fats on the top. And when you take that off, you've got all of that beautiful stock juice underneath that you can make gravy with, or you can make a risotto with. But you can actually use that fat from that to actually, fry up your onions, saute your mushrooms, or whatever it is that you need to do. You can use those things. And like I was saying, that when you're writing, you can actually use the bits that you've you're not using in the entire manuscript to actually use as teasers in your marketing. So there's always something there. Clear out your head. You are the person that gets to write this because you choose to and you get to. This is for you. And like me, it's you're probably your sanity check every day. Or just because you love writing. You know, I get to. I love writing, so I get to write. And now we're coming on to the bit about belonging. What would make you feel like you belong? Now, we get to choose where we belong. We get to choose how we show up. And I remember last night as we were getting ready, Um, people that know me, they'll know that I've gained a few pounds. I've had a shoulder injury. I've been through some personal challenges, and I have gained a few pounds. So last night when we were getting ready, I looked at myself in the mirror. I looked at myself on some photos. I was like, yeah, no, don't want to go. And I was like, I'm not going to stop going. I have come all this way, and I'm still going to go. I may not look fantastic, although lots of people said I did. It's all in my head. And even though those of us who are winning awards or being shortlisted for awards or have written all of these books, we still have all of these insecurities that come up, and they could be in anything. It could be that, we might have a scar on our face or on our arms. It might be that, we had a tattoo that we regret, or that, we don't have the money to buy these, really expensive gowns, or whatever it is what is it that we can tell ourselves that we belong in these places? Because I guarantee you, I was not the only woman there who felt self-conscious, because that's just a thing that we do. Why we do it, I have no idea. Most people aren't even looking at us, to be honest. They don't really care about us. They're just more worried about what's going on in their own head. But what is it that's going to make you feel like you belong in these places? It might be that you have um you know that you've done something really, really great. Now, it might be that you choose to belong. Um, and choosing to belong is really powerful. Like I said, it's not about you walking in a room and people saying whether people like you. It's about whether you walk into a room and know that you're going to choose who you like. It's about who you like. It's about whether you choose to say, I have the expertise, or I have the knowledge, or I want to learn the knowledge. I have the right to be here. I have the opportunity to be here. And I'm going to be here. I'm going to be totally present on why I'm here. I'm going to be totally present in this space. Um, and knowing that we belong in spaces can be really challenging, because it will bring up stuff from our past. It will bring up some insecurities, and okay, I get to deal with that now. I get to look at that as who I am now and the journey that I've taken. And my invitation to you is write 7 actions that you can take about belonging and not rejecting yourself. Because when we reject ourselves, we open the gate to other people rejecting us. We want to close that. We don't want to reject ourselves. I know my body is amazing. It's carried me through 47 years. I've put it through its paces, whether that's been on the dance floor, whether that's been through ill health, whether that's been through sport, whether that's been through trauma. My body is still here protecting me, taking me through life. So I'm going to honor it. And I'm choosing to love my body. And that's a very powerful thing, especially for those people who have had violence against their body in one way or another, whether it's been in a car accident, whether it's been through ill health or through abuse, or just through, just complete rejection because some mindless person made a comment once that really was quite insulting and hurtful. So I want you to really look at where you belong in your body first off, and looking at where you belong in your life. and learning to love that. And like I say, any negative thoughts come, return to sender. Okay, thank you for being here. Thank you for raising my awareness. I'm grateful for the reminder, but I've chosen to learn from this. I've chosen to accept myself. And now I return this thought to where it belongs. It's not mine. Return to sender. So acknowledge them first. Thank them for the journey and thank them for the healing or for the lessons that you've learned. And then send those thoughts back to sender because they're not yours. They don't belong in your space. Let go of them. And now this is one of my favorite tasks to do. Step 7. It's about fast forwarding to your 90th birthday and sitting there, and whether it's your family that are around you, or where your grandchildren or your great grandchildren, or whether you're sat there with friends and you're reminiscing on your life, I want you to talk about everything that you've achieved in your life, and everything that you want to achieve right now, everything that you want that person. Okay, so I have, this might get a bit confusing, but I'm going to try and explain it in the best way that I can. I want you to think about what it was like for you to have achieved all of your goals in life. Now, when you start thinking about this, it's a little exercise that you need to do first. You need to imagine yourself where you are now at your next level. So the person you are now, what is the next level that you're aiming for? Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to step into that next level of self and imagine what that version of yourself will be dreaming about and wanting to achieve. Then, once you've done that, step into that version of yourself. And what would that version of yourself want to be achieving? What is that person dreaming about? And then just keep doing that. And then imagine you're 90 years old and all of those things have been achieved. And when you've done that, I want you to imagine that you're sat around with people that you love and they're wanting to hear about your amazing life. And, you remember the best piece of wisdom that you were given right here today. Obviously, it could be something that I've said. When I say right here, today, I don't necessarily mean right here in this moment, but in this of your life, in this day of your life, or this week, or this year of your life, what has been the most instrumental piece of wisdom that you have received that has changed your life and allowed you to overcome imposter syndrome, that have overcome all of the limiting beliefs and doubts about yourself so that you can accelerate your journey? I want you to think about that and I want you to write it down. And I want you to believe that you are absolutely so capable and more than you ever thought that you could possibly be. You are an incredible human being. And if you doubt that, I want you, when you go and have a shower, I call it the shower challenge. I want you to just feel the water droplets on your skin and just think about all those nerve endings that can feel the water. And then I want you to start thinking about going from your head, going from the top of your head, all the hair that keeps growing, and then what your brain is doing, like all those synapses that are firing, those neural pathways that are connecting. And when you start thinking about all the thoughts that you have and the amount of thoughts you have and how your mind is not your brain, but how they're connecting, and then look at how like your skull protects your brain, and then all the things that you're hearing through your ears and everything you see through your eyes, and just the things that you smell, the things that you taste. We've not even got to your neck yet. Your tongue, and all of those sensations that you feel, those textures, your teeth that help you grind. And I want you to go through every single level of your body, the surface level and all the internal. And think about all the organs that are pumping blood and oxygen around your body. Your organs that are cleansing your body. Your liver. Ugh, sorry. There was discussion of liver and onions at the table last night, and I really hate liver and onions, and I can't understand why people eat liver or kidneys, because these organs process all the crap out of your body and then you go and eat them. Well, obviously not your own or another human's, hopefully, but still, ugh. But again, go through every aspect of your body and just get present just to how amazing you are. And when you've done that, imagine how, if you can do this unconsciously every day, and you look at how much you've achieved in your life so far, given all the tools that you've had along the journey and all the new tools that you've got, imagine what's possible. Imagine what's possible. So yes, write it down. Write down how amazing you are. And if you need some help, you know where I am. You can always book an author strategy session with me, Dawn Bates, and it's authors.youcanbook.me. And that's a free session that I give to people. Or if you'd really like to work with me on a one-to-one, send me a message through the website, through the contact, dawnbates.com/contact. Send me a message there. Or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can find me under linkedin.com/in/Dawn Bates. Yeah, I hope that this has been great for you. I really hope that you now have some ideas on how to get over imposter syndrome. And like I said, if you want to work with me or you want to have a session with me, get online and get them booked. Thank you so much for being here. I'm now about to run and go and get some breakfast before jumping on a coach back to Cardiff. And yeah. It's been a pleasure. It's been a week. It's been an incredible week. But thank you so much. Take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.